Soul level, dark. This place is pretty cool, but I have other places to be, I think. I would like to fight the mushroom family, I just don't want to get too far away from my goal. I've already left Darkroot Garden half unexplored, the catacombs are half unexplored, and Sen's Fortress is almost entirely unexplored, I believe. So, I'm leaving Blighttown, again. Leaving Blighttown is probably quite a popular activity among those who have the capability. Really, to get a real sense of just where I can and can't go and what remains unexplored in the world, I need to make a map. Like this map. Tarquin started his journey in the Undead Asylum. It's no good, let's make it more Dark Souls. There we go. That is a good font. From there he fairly quickly arrived at Firelink Shrine, the central hub of the game. And from Firelink you can go to a whole bunch of other places. I suppose the first major one is the Undead Burg. So we have a Shrine to Burg connection. But the Burg leads to the parish. And from the parish you can then get to a lower part of the Undead Burg. And actually the way from the parish to the lower burg goes to the kind of watchtower area from which you access the parish from the upper burg. The upper burg to lower burg connection is direct. So there's a watchtower. I won't bother giving that a name, it's just a watchtower. It's actually fairly important in the scheme of things as far as connecting things together goes. There is also a direct connection from Firelink Shrine to the parish by elevator. So the parish is really above Firelink in some sense. Then again, so is the upper burg. Lower burg, you could say, is below it. This is not going to be a three-dimensional map, so it doesn't really matter. What have I missed? Now, from Firelink Shrine, you can also directly access New Londo. Not that you really want to, but you can. And New Londo, in turn, leads through to the Valley of Drakes. So the map is already getting quite complicated. We can do this. The Valley of Drakes, in turn, leads to Blighttown, as does the lower burg through the depths. So let's bring those in. Blighttown, sadly, and the depths. And Blighttown, although, yeah, I guess it leads directly to the Valley of the Drakes. I don't think the depths are a shortcut to anywhere. I think there's simply a passage between Blighttown and the lower Undead Berg. Now that reminds me, there is actually a shortcut directly between the upper and lower bergs. So let's add that in. Blighttown doesn't really go directly to the Valley of the Drakes, or it does in terms of actual area, but there's a sort of second part of Blighttown with a second bonfire, and I'm going to call that its own sort of location. That's the Blighttown Swamp. And that is sort of not quite as bad as Blighttown proper, but it's still kind of bad. How are things looking when we zoom out? It all kind of fits together, although the parish and the upper berg are becoming a sort of bottleneck there. Let's try conceptualizing this slightly differently. Okay. Now, New Londo also leads to somewhere else which I cannot get to yet, at least one place. So we'll represent that as not knowing what the hell. There are some other areas like that, but I haven't got to them yet. From the swamp you can go to Quilag's domain, and in fact you must if you want to ring a bell. It's hard to spell Quilag's name. The Witch of Izalith gave all of her daughters very odd names for some reason. Quilag's domain leads into even worse places, such as the Demon Ruins. And I also found out that from the swamp you can visit a place called the Great Hollow. So that's cool. The Great Hollow and the Demon Ruins both had unexplored areas behind them. So there's certainly more to be seen there. And there was also an elevator leading out of Quilag's domain to somewhere. I did not have a way to activate it. So we've got a whole bunch of unknowns here. Now, Blighttown thankfully only goes to those places. That's quite bad enough. But there are more. The Valley of the Drakes has another exit from it, leading to the Darkroot Basin. And the Darkroot Basin connects to the Darkroot Garden, which connects to the Kneebone and so on. So, there, and the main entrance to the Darkroot Garden is actually from the Undead Parish. This is getting very confusing. Right next to the entrance to the Darkroot Garden, in the Undead Parish, we actually have Sen's Fortress. I soon need to return to Sen's Fortress, but not yet, because it's hard. So, I don't know exactly what lies beyond Sen's Fortress. Anor Londo, presumably, is somewhere there, but there may be other things, so we'll call it question marks. And from Darkroot Basin too, there is some area I have not explored. And from Darkroot Garden, there's also an area I haven't explored. Well, at least I haven't explored the rest of the garden itself. Now, further complicating matters, there is another watchtower door in Darkroot Basin, which I think leads to the same watchtower. And here it is. So, these may be connected. They may be quite directly connected. It's hard to say, but that really screws things up. So I'll just have to rearrange this a little. Let's bring that up, that out, down, in. New Londo can fuck off. I'm sure lots of people would share that sentiment. This watchtower doesn't make a lot of sense, except when you consider that Lordran is three-dimensional and my map is not, unfortunately. So maybe it makes some sense after all. Okay. Where does that leave us? Oh yes. Firelink Shrine has yet more secrets. For example, you can travel from there to the catacombs. And from the catacombs to somewhere. I don't know, but I believe it's where Rhea of Thorolund and her followers went, where Petrus came back from alone. That asshole. So, as you can see, Blighttown leads to all sorts of dubious places. Dubious and mysterious. Really, those Swamp and Blighttown areas are the same as our Upper Berg and Lower Berg, but there are multiple separate individual connections. For example, you can travel directly from Firelink Shrine to the Lower Undead Berg. So, I appreciate all these shortcuts, but they certainly make the map confusing. Okay. So considering the watchtower is probably an area of its own, then we can say things look roughly like this. So I have quite a lot of places to explore, and in particular the question mark beyond Sen's Fortress probably leads to the entire rest of the game. That will be fun. I'm gonna check out this bloodstain, because this is not my bloodstain. Not seeing ghost. Not there he goes. Someone's been owned completely. I wonder, does seeing a bloodstain mean that you are able to go into another world? Let's find out. That just kind of didn't do a lot, I guess. So I guess it's an indicator, but not a guarantor. Oh, fair enough. Anyway, I should stop putting this off. Maybe I shouldn't have stopped putting that off.